everyone, I'm Nicole. Welcome back to my channel. You guys may know me as Sunny Coco on Instagram, where I share study tips. Today I'm going to give you guys my best advice on how to get a 5 in AP Chem. These tips have either helped me personally or I know somebody who would highly recommend them. My friends and I actually all got 5s last year, so we've collected a bunch of resources that I'm going to share in this video. So tip number 1 is to target the most commonly tested material when you're studying because time is limited. So some key areas to focus on is like Unit 3, so this is ideal gas law, solubility, intermolecular forces, and also Unit 8, acids and bases. This is actually the largest exam percentage, so just make sure you are really clear with pH, POH, Ka, Kb relationships, and then the Henderson-Hasselbalch equation. And something else to watch out for is that lab-related questions will appear on the exam, so make sure you're familiar with that. So number 2, pay special attention to the second half of the course because it starts to pick up really fast. I personally found Unit 6, 7, and 8 to be really difficult to understand. If you're confused about something, don't let that confusion drag on, okay? Find someone to teach it to you or teach it to yourself. So here are some YouTube videos that were exceptionally helpful for me. So my personal favorite has to be Professor Dave because he's very clear and concise with his teaching, as opposed to someone like Crash Course, which although the video was very entertaining, there's a lot of fluff. So after I finished watching it, I'm like, how much did I really learn, or did I just watch a really cool video? So the best way to watch one of these Professor Dave videos is that I always copy the link here and then go to this site called Turbo AI and then press YouTube video and then paste it in and then generate notes. So once it's done processing, it'll create summarized notes for me, and I like to go to the chatbot section on the tab on the side here and then just watch the video within Turbo on like 2x speed. And what's amazing about Turbo is that as I watch the video, let's say I'm confused about the Bronson-Lowry definition, I can just go ahead and copy it and then paste it into the chatbot and say, explain this. Boom. There you go, and Turbo will help me understand it just like that. It's really important that after you watch the video, you go in and you work with the information that you just learned to avoid passive learning. So I either go through kind of the notes here or I go to the quiz here and then just do a few practice questions. So number 3, what's special about chemistry is that you need to do a lot of practice questions because most of the exams is application based, unlike bio where you can just memorize flashcards. Chem is more like a math test where you need to apply the concepts through examples. However, oftentimes the practice questions that your teacher gives you isn't enough, so here are some really helpful resources. So the first site here is actually Turbo. You guys saw a bit of it earlier. I actually use this for almost all of my AP classes because they have pre-generated AP lecture notes for you. And then let me just find the chemistry one, which is right here. I'll go through and let's say we want to practice equilibrium. You can just open it up. And there you go. Here is everything you need to know about Unit 7. So I'll always go in and add in anything that I want to emphasize or anything that I want extra practice on because Turbo will take the information from this document to generate your quiz. So you can find your quiz in the tab here on the side, and I'll always spend a good chunk of my time just going through these quizzes. And what's amazing about Turbo is that once I've mastered a certain topic like chemical equilibrium and solubility, I can just deselect it so I can focus my time studying reaction quotient. So besides just using your textbook, a lot of people will recommend the Princeton Review or just using like the Barron's AP Chem Guide, but I personally found that Turbo's like practice questions were enough for me. So Barron's is a lot more detail, and I've had friends who told me that they found the information a little bit excessive, which is why they kind of prefer the Princeton Review one, but definitely do your own research before you just buy any of the textbooks. So tip number 4 is to not forget the basics like the periodic table because these are like literally free points on the exam. Just make sure you haven't forgotten stuff like energy levels, atomic radius, or like valence electrons. So number 5 is specific tips for the multiple choice section on the AP Chem exam. Read the questions and the choices very carefully because they're all meant to distract you or to trick you into picking the wrong answer. So what I always like to do is I like to cover up all the options, just read the question and then think about an answer in my head and then confirm with the options. Because I distinctly remember, okay, for like a particular question, I knew the answer to it, but because another option kind of sounded convincing as well, I chose it, okay? Don't do that, okay? Trust your knowledge. It's also important to skip really difficult questions to maintain your momentum throughout the test, and also you can do something called cross-referencing. So maybe the wording of another question may help you answer this one, so it's okay to skip things and then come back to it. And then number 6, here are some tips for the free response section of the exam. So first, show all of your work because partial marks are given. Sometimes they'll just give you a mark for just choosing the correct equation. Also, please don't forget units, okay? Please, because I've gotten marks docked off. Like I did the entire thing correct, but they took off like a mark or two because, well, I didn't put the units. Make sure what you've written down is clear and the grader can follow your logic. So it's okay to like take a second to plan out how you're gonna solve it, where you're gonna write, instead of doing things all over the place. And similarly, you should be skipping all the super difficult questions and then coming back to it later. So I really hope this video was helpful for you guys, because AP Chem is actually so hard. So as long as you put in the work, you will be okay. All right, please leave any questions that you have for me in the comment section and I will be checking it, and happy studying.